So back by popular demand apparently, I'm back making another Xbox video because the last video I made about... I can get it. This guy apparently was very popular with not only you, but also the YouTube algorithm. I can never read the thing. But you know, I'm not going to complain. So here's another Xbox related video for you. So last video I talked about why I bought the Xbox Series S over sticking with PlayStation, which is the console I've been on for a while now. But now, going away from sort of why I switched and a personal sort of thing, I wanted to talk about today what the differences are between the lineup of Xbox consoles. Because with PlayStation side, we have the disc version of the PS5 and the discless version of the PS5. Such a mouthful to say. But to be honest, there's not really that much of a difference. I mean, it's either you want a more symmetrical looking console with no disc drive with the same capabilities, or you want a disc drive. It's pretty basic. With the Xbox side of things, it's a little bit different because you have two consoles with pretty big price differences relatively, and some feature differences as well. So there is some features that are gained and lacked in whatever direction you decide to go. So who should buy the Xbox Series X and who should buy the Xbox Series S? Well, let's start talking about the differences between the two consoles first of all, and then I'll get into who I think should buy one over the other. So the differences, the major differences between the Xbox Series S and X, always get those mixed up. Size is the biggest thing if you look at them straight up front. The Xbox Series S is quite a bit smaller. It's probably half the size width-wise of the Series X, and then take a little bit off the top, then you've got your Series S. So it is quite a bit more portable if you want to take your console places, or if you're traveling you still want to have your console with you, or you're moving houses. It's a lot less to lug around. Also in your house, if you have an entertainment unit or you have a desk, the Series X is pretty large. Sometimes I know I have friends who've had trouble placing the Series X in their house because it's just so big. It's like I can't put it on the entertainment unit, I can't really have room on my desk for it, I kind of just have to have it sitting on the floor next to the entertainment unit. So that's kind of the big face value difference. This thing is very, very small. Like it fits on my desk really seamlessly. It fits basically anywhere I need it. It fits there. I have no issues with it. It's so small. It's like I can handle it one-handed very confidently. The Series X I can't. And just as a disclaimer, I don't own a Series X. I have used one pretty extensively and I've seen it, I've looked at it. It's not like I've never seen it before, I've never used it or anything. I have no experience with it and I'm just talking about it. I have experience with the console. I just happen to own the Series S right now. I have experience with both of those. So size, definitely the biggest thing. The next thing, which is sort of similar to the differences between the PS5 consoles, is the lack of a disc drive on the Xbox Series S. Now, the Xbox Series S is an all-digital console. The Series X happens to still have a disc drive. So that's a pretty big difference, right? So you can't go to GameStop anymore, you can't go and pick up the discs. If you have discs previously, you can't just put them in. This black circle on the front there, yeah, that's a fan. That's not a little disc thing that pops up like those. Do you guys have those like little like video players as like a kid or something, like, or even, I don't know, my grandma still has one. So like you press the thing and it's like a circle and it comes up and you put the disc in. Yeah, it's not one of those things. So those are the two very big and at face value just physical changes that are very big differences between the two consoles. Now, the other differences go beneath the surface. So the Xbox Series X can play things at 4K, 120 frames per second. It does look very beautiful, especially when you have a nice TV that you're displaying that thing on. It looks glorious on that thing. I've played Forza Horizon 5 in 4K, even on this thing. Like, so that's getting to the Series S. It does not do 4K. It does upscale, I believe, with a couple of games. I haven't had experience with this. This is something that someone else told me, so take that with a grain of salt. I'm not 100% sure on that, but this thing, 1440p is what it's advertised as displaying. So 1440p, still better than full HD 1080p, but yeah, not quite 4K. I still have to say that first time I booted Forza Horizon 5 up on this thing, it was still breathtaking. So this Series S does do, for the most part, 120 frames per second. And I even got some comments on the last video where people play things at 120 frames per second on the Series S. But it's just the 4K resolution and also the amount of RAM that this thing has compared to the Series X. So I believe the Series X has 16 gigabytes of RAM, whereas this only has 10 gigabytes of RAM. This has a lot lower of a power consumption to the Series X as well. And also a big difference as well. So resolution and everything, yes, very big, but also storage on board, inbuilt storage as soon as you get the console. Series X, 1 terabyte. And then minus whatever the system storage is, which I believe it's about 800 and something. And then this thing, right out the box, you get 512 gigabytes of storage. So that is significantly less inbuilt fast next-gen SSD that you're gonna get. So you're gonna need to buy the proprietary Xbox Seagate SSD drive for these new consoles. You're gonna have to buy that and invest in that a little bit sooner with this one than you would in the Series X. Both consoles you can use external hard drives that you would use in like your older gen consoles, but the thing is you cannot use those hard drives with newer games. So if the games have X or S on them and shows that they're optimized for the latest consoles, for the Series consoles, you have to use the internal storage or get that add-on storage device that's proprietary to Xbox. So all the other games you can store on those hard drives, but if you want to play the next gen ones, you have to have room inside again, meaning that with this thing, you're probably going to have to buy the little extension a lot sooner. So as far as games go, the good thing is you don't have to worry no matter which one you buy. You can play all of the same games. You just can't buy them physically on the Series S, but you can play all the same games. They're all optimized for both the X and the S, and that's why on all the games on the store, you'll have an X and an S on all of the new or upgraded games, because they're making them available on both consoles, because they plan not to ditch this thing in the next year. They are supporting this thing as long as the Series X is supported as well. So that's one thing that you can have peace of mind about. You don't have to worry too much about it. So who do I think should get the Xbox Series X? Now again, everybody's different, everybody has certain preferences, but I'm gonna try and help you to decide which one you should get. You should buy the Series X if you have a 4K TV or 4K monitor that you've bought recently, or you have and you really want to make use of, and extra frames and extra resolution and having it look the absolute greatest it can. If that's the most important to you, then the Series X is definitely worth the extra cost. And again, you can get the Series X and the S for a lot cheaper at the moment on Craigslist and things like that. Facebook Marketplace. Surprisingly, the Xboxes secondhand have been pretty reasonably priced, considering all the PS5s that I've seen that are being upsold on Marketplace and Craigslist. It's pretty insane. Resolution, if you care about that, go with the Series X. If you have discs that you want to continue to play, or you want to continue to buy discs and you really care about having your physical game collection, go the Series X, because you can't. There's no option for you on the Series S. There's no way you can play any discs. If you don't want to, I mean, this next reason isn't really a major reason, because again, it can be pretty, either way, whatever way you go, it can be very easily remedied. But if you just want more storage on board, if you want to be able to play all these next gen games, not have to worry for a little bit longer, and again, it's not going to be that much longer, but a little bit, you buy yourself a little bit more time to download more of the next gen games, you get a terabyte off the bat with the Series X. So go with the Series X. This thing, you run out of storage pretty quickly if you're downloading a lot of next gen games. So I would definitely recommend the Series X if you really care about having 1 terabyte on board, not externally. Also, I guess aesthetically, aesthetics is a big thing that comes into it. This is sort of the middle point of which one do you prefer to look at. If you really care that much about aesthetics, and how your living room looks, or your office looks, your gaming room, whatever. If you have a preference aesthetically, I mean, that is a factor. It's definitely less important than all of the other factors that I've sort of gone through. So if any one of those things is sort of determining for you, definitely go with that option. But if it's just aesthetically, Which one do you prefer to look at more? This is why you should buy the Series S. If you want to go all digital, if you want to try it out, you're kind of going for more a minimalist sort of vibe, I guess. You don't want as much clutter, you don't want as many games hanging about, or you want to just sort of go through everything and just have everything digitally. This thing, all digital, I've enjoyed it actually, because I thought I would have a hard time going from physical games to just digital, all digital, but I've actually had a bit of a good time. But it makes it so much easier to have everything digitally, because I don't have to worry about as much. I don't have to worry about discs getting scratched or losing cases. So all digital, if you prefer that, then go with this thing. Also, if you prefer the small form factor, I talked about aesthetics already, but if you don't have that much room in your house, you live in a small apartment, or you don't have much room on your desk or in your entertainment system, or you just don't want it to take up too much space, then this guy's really good. I love having this thing. I basically have made like this minimal setup around this thing. It looks super clean, super nice. And having it small, again, is also less hassle because it's less to carry around. You have more space to pack other things. So yes, if you like the size, if the size suits your needs and your personal life better, then that's also a reason why you should go on that. Also, a big thing that I haven't actually talked about at all yet is pricing, which I guess this is pretty basic. It's pretty self-explanatory. Like, yes, they're going to be different prices. The Series X, it plays at 4K. It has a disk drive, and so with that, obviously you have more capability, so that comes with more of a price tag. So this Series S is about $200 cheaper than the Series X. The Series X goes for $500 USD. This goes for $300 USD. So there is a difference in price. So budget is a major thing, and I left that sort of to last because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's obvious, but it is a major deciding factor. So if your budget is lower, but you really want a next-gen system and you don't really mind to lose out on a couple of these little nice things to have, this thing will save you $200. With the Series X, again, $500, $200 more. You have to decide for yourself whether you think having the disk drive, the 4K capabilities, is it worth the extra $200? It might be. I'm not saying it won't. For certain people it will be. You won't be able to have 4K with this, but if you have a 1440p monitor or even a 1080p monitor, this thing still looks great. But obviously there are sacrifices for the $200 less. In my opinion, very much so worth it. Again, I've had experience with both of these consoles. It's pretty worth it to me. But then again, saying that, I've played things in 4K on the Xbox Series X, and oh boy, I was very tempted for a little bit to just wait a little bit longer for Xbox Series X's to come in stock, because man, the 4K looks beautiful. Okay, so I'm not going to undersell that. It looks amazing. So guys, I hope this helped you out a little bit. Deciding between consoles can be a big thing. Try and figure out what points are really meaningful to you and what you don't really mind. Because to be honest, the biggest thing is the price. So budget is a big thing you have to consider. But apart from that, all these other points should help point you in the right direction, and I'm hoping it does. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. After the last video, well, 2 videos ago now, it got so many views compared to everything else on my channel. Like, I haven't had anybody watch my stuff before, and then all of a sudden I looked like today and it's like, your video has 900 views on it, and I'm like, oh, okay, how did that happen? And then YouTube has apparently been showing my videos to people, so that's nice. That's a nice thing. So I thought I'd follow up with that video with another Xbox related video, because that seems to be what's being pushed out. But I do content like this, sort of gear reviews, helping you to decide things on what to buy, creative stuff, film, photography stuff, and just all around tech stuff like that. So if you like that sort of thing, feel free to stick around, feel free to subscribe, and if you would like to see more Xbox content, feel free to let me know. I always try to make sure I read the comments, reply to you as soon as I can, if I'm able to. So I always like seeing people talk in the comments. It's always nice. But please don't be shy to let me know what you'd like to see, what you thought of the video. Please leave me a thumbs up if you did like it, and again, please subscribe if you feel like you want to watch more of this stuff. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one, which hopefully will be very soon. But again, as I usually say in every video, it's really awkward and I don't really know how to end the videos, so That probably would have worked better if there was an actual controller in it, but